hadn't came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fault, and they had the audacity to sue me. These people ain't.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Amaj back in another video. Today we're about to be reacting to a video by Tazi, and the video is going to be on the Afroman lawsuit is the funniest case of the year. I've been hearing about this lawsuit, but like all the information I gathered like watching clips kind of really didn't explain, so I really want to get into this and react to this whole situation. So let's get into it together if you guys haven't seen this video.
Afroman just won a defamation lawsuit that will probably go down as one of the most outrageous court cases ever live streamed.
Can you tell me what fact about you that receding hairline or refers to, please?
I'm sorry?
Okay. So not only was this a defamation suit brought against him by the police, but all of the alleged defamatory posts only got more attention because of the spectacle and made the Adams County Sheriff's Department even more of a laughingstock than what it was before. Now,
Oh, that must really fucking suck on y'all part, nigga. Y'all niggas tried to sue a nigga and it just ended up with a whole bunch of more backlash. I hope y'all know this is the age of the internet and they really do not give a fuck about y'all, like wanting to sue this nigga. But once you see like what the hell the situation's about, they're probably gonna flame you even more.
not to mention the clips of these officers on the stand being forced to repeat the rude names they were called over and over again makes it so much more funny. Like, it kind of feels like a comedy sketch at this point.
I wouldn't trust him with being alone in my house.
So
I find that pretty insulting.
that statement is what you're suing on.
Well, no. I told you this is one of many.
Well, and that's why we're trying to
You
find.
keep trying to make it singular. I'm telling you it's not singular, it's plural.
Okay, and so one of them is one is receding hairline,
Yep.
and the other is tits.
Yes.
I'm sure they're all regretting most of the choices they made, because if they thought their reputations were damaged then they're probably going to want to join some sort of witness protection now.
Lisa, I'm sorry. I didn't know that hurt you like that.
Now, Afroman
Is she fucking crying? Holy shit, bro. And man, if you don't know how to ignore shit on the internet, nigga, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Cause like 9 out of 10, these people are not gonna fucking meet you in real life.
might not be a name you've heard in a while, but I'm sure, like most people, you've been seeing posts about the defamation lawsuit everywhere last week. It's like every third reel is him celebrating outside the courthouse, or Officer Poundcake being forced to recount the mean names that hurt his feelings. I mean, this entire case is one of the dumbest and most petty cases I've seen in my entire life, but wow, was it entertaining. Because even though this trial has been coming for years, it definitely slipped under the radar until the clips of the courtroom live stream started circulating on social media. And if you've seen any of these clips, you would probably agree, how could they not?
Fact, they never should have came to my house in the first place. Fact, if they hadn't have came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fault, and they have the audacity to sue me. These people and you are the predators and the victim at the same time.
And the only witness that Afroman himself called was one of the deputy's ex-wives, who only added insult to injury when the prosecution examined her.
You never sought a protective order against your ex-husband, did you?
Yes, I did when we divorced. The divorce, yes. I had a restraining order.
Did you got a restraining
Yes,
order?
I did.
Were you aware of the posts that were coming out after 2022 about the sheriff's deputies and calling them thieves and that sort of thing? Did you ever see any or hear any of the songs?
Some of my students referred to it when they would say, I saw your husband in the video. And I would say, yeah, that was him.
I am still trying to understand why they sued him back for him making diss tracks on them. The problem,
Bro, just to think, what the hell did you do for somebody to call your ex-wife and, make them as like a whole nother defendant in your case? Like, you see, this is why you gotta keep like a clear-cut relationship, at least be friends with your ex-wife, because you never know, like some shit might come up and they'll be your worst enemy. This is This is an example right here.
With defamation is it needs to not be true. See, Afroman, legally known as Joseph Edgar Foreman, has been quite the character for his whole career. And if you don't know who he is, you've probably heard his hit song. Because I Got High is arguably the most known song from him, and it's featured in iconic movies like Disturbia. And not to mention, it still gets quoted in pop culture a whole bunch today. And it was also even nominated for a Grammy, which feels sort of funny for the content, but I guess not surprising because, like I said, it was insanely popular. With that being said, Afroman has numerous hits filled with a whole bunch of inappropriate language that is obviously exaggerated, which is kind of what made it so popular. But according to his Wikipedia, his very first song was a diss track about a school bully. So even though Afroman takes shots in his music, the person on the receiving end usually deserves it, even if only a little bit.
She ate my ex-wife just like pizza. Eating blah 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 over and over thousands of times on the internet.
And it's safe to say the Adams County Sheriff's Department did not like what Afroman was doing, even if they didn't understand the insults.
Is it true that Mr. Foreman called you a hunchback?
Yes.
And specifically,
I mean, I know we're gonna see like what happened, but like I really want to know what did these niggas do so bad to like make him release like a diss track on the whole like fucking precinct. Cause nigga, this has to be like some type of crazy ass like shit story. I just can't wait to see it
compared
now.
to Quasimodo,
Yes.
the Disney hero?
I'm assuming that's who it is.
Quasimodo from the Disney movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I've never watched it, so I don't know.
So they claimed it was defamation and sued him for nearly $4 million in damages for humiliation, ridicule, mental distress, embarrassment, and loss of reputation. But Afroman stood firm in his belief that this was all parody and should be allowed. If they hadn't damaged his property, he wouldn't have made the songs about it in the first place.
Yeah, my whole thing is they never should have rated me in the first place.
That's your whole
They
thing.
That's my
raid?
whole thing.
That's the
That's
point,
my whole
isn't
thing.
it?
If they never would have showed up, there would be no songs about them. I wouldn't know who they are. Their faces would not be on my video cameras. None of this, we wouldn't be in this room right now if they hadn't raided my house and didn't press no charges, didn't even know what they was doing. This whole thing is their fault, and they're suing me for their mistake.
Not to mention,
Oh, so what I'm getting at basically, they rated him and probably found nothing, like no type of like incriminating evidence, and then like this type of shit could really be embarrassing because like the police busting down your door and like you're in a neighborhood, they probably like that'll probably give you like a badass name. You gotta like look at the embarrassing part of this and like the others like type of the standpoint, and you a neighbor, you see somebody the police bashing down somebody's door, and you probably think something's really going on over that. You probably think this nigga's like a hardened criminal or something with like a secret ass backstory or something like that, and that's really embarrassing. So I get why he released a diss tracks of that shit. You finding nothing hard on this man is just like the fucking type of fucking revenge he needed to get.
Afroman, do we really believe that everyone in the story Colt 45 was 100% real? And if we took at every song lyric ever written as literal, well, there'd be a whole lot more people in trouble for way worse stuff than this. But this story is such a good example of the Streisand effect because honestly, I don't think that many people knew about these music videos until the trial started. I for a fact know I didn't. Not to mention, some of these music videos have gained millions of views just in the last few days. But let's go to where all this began in 2022 when the initial incident happened. So you have the Adams County Sheriff's Department saying that they received a tip from a confidential informant linking Afroman to drugs and a kidnapping. And this is what led them to obtaining a search warrant for his home. Now, drugs, that's pretty vague. I mean,
that informant was probably like, dissed by that nigga in the past too. That's probably why that shit happened.
that could be what he talks about in all of his songs, like Because I Got High. So I don't really know if you need a confidential informant to get that kind of information that he may or may not have some green on him. But no matter what the tip was, no charges came from it. And the way the search was executed by the Adams County Sheriff Department ended up being the real story everyone was focused on. Luckily, Afroman and his family weren't home at the time the police stormed the property and damaged and destroyed his gate, front door, and security system. But even though they damaged the security system, he was still able to get footage of what happened. But they came fully kitted up with rifles and even riot shields because I guess they thought that they were gonna get into it. But as it turns out, they only found a few grand and a couple joints and weed pens, which again are probably the least surprising things you could ever find at Afroman's house. But this is where it all starts to get even more interesting because when the money was returned to Afroman, it was apparently missing $400. And the cops have chalked this up to a counting error. But that did not stop Afroman from calling the cops.
Yo, that's what I kind of like never get. Why do these fucking policemen confiscate, like, the money part? I get why they confiscate when they actually find something, but if they find nothing, why would you just confiscate like all his money and his stuff that he needs, and that's all his property? And I mean, well, I'm probably just not getting that. They probably have procedures to do that shit, but like in this case, like nothing was found and he wasn't charged, and $400 was missing out of his hard-earned money. That's some bullshit.
Crooked thieves and basically every other name under the sun.
Nobody admitted that they took your money.
Well, whatever. Go look at her admitting that the bag is short because it stayed open all weekend long or 2 weeks after Brian and Officer Cooley just left it and just mishandled it and just right.
And then he took footage from his cameras before they were cut off and put out numerous posts and making a mockery out of the entire situation. And Afroman says he was just exercising First Amendment rights as an American. And he would go on to say that it was in his right to turn his bad times into good times and make art about his life to be able to pay and fix the damages that they did to his property.
And because they executed a search warrant on your
Oh, this nigga about to make some serious ass money off of this, because like I agree. You knocking down, you taking like all his property down, damaging his shit. He has to pay for this some way. I mean, he doesn't get paid from the state like y'all niggas do. Like y'all niggas is covered by like the state when y'all like when they damage some shit. But like if nothing's found and like they just bashing shit, and I guess they only pay for shit when it's like deemed payable or whatever they did. But like I feel like this is just some like slick bullshit that's going on. So like, hey, I agree with him making his money back.
That gave you the right to post the things that we've seen this week on the internet.
Because
is that right? Is that right, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, for tearing down my door, not paying for it, not being apologetic, me being a sport, doing something peaceful to raise the money to pay for their damages, me having the right of the freedom of speech as an American to talk to my family, friends, and fans about what the sheriffs did to my home. Yes, I had the right to my freedom of speech. After they left, I had the right to kick the can and to do what I had to do to repair the damage they brought to my house.
And it's safe to say the jury agreed, which I don't think any of the cops expected.
In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff's verdict prevailed. So the matter will be concluded with defense verdicts.
The jury voted in favor of Afroman, taking, I guess, a mockery to a full WWE-style smackdown of the Adams County Sheriff's Department. Because here they were forced to rewatch all the silly music videos and parodies while on public display, knowing this is being live streamed to the public and circulated even.
Oh my God, bro. That literally is the most embarrassing part. You lose the case and all that shit's projected for a second time in front of everybody, my nigga. Bro, and this is like a W for like not for just black people, just for like people that are like wronged by these lame ass policemen in general, bro, and they can't really do nothing about it, or don't have like the platform like Afroman to do. So like I feel like this should be like a W for the community, bro.
more than it was before. And then on top of that, Afroman has only ramped up his ridicule online now that he's actually won the case that they brought against him. It's really just one of the wildest court cases I've seen when you see Afroman's American flag suit and then all the crazy quotes coming from it. I also love there was like some viral tweet saying that Afroman is dressed up exactly like how the Japanese refer to Americans in anime. And I feel like, yeah, it's pretty spot on. But I can also...
Oh my god, bro. Like I said, this is like a whole ass W. Learning about this whole situation and like, you know, seeing other situations that are similar to this, I'm glad like Afroman got like a W for this, because the police always do this type of shit, and like this type of shit is never like seen, bro. Like, oh, they all like these people try like to bring up like a whole bunch of shit of like, oh, he hurt my feelings, he did this. Well, y'all bashed down his door and broke every like a whole bunch of his property that he didn't do, and plus $400 was missing. Sure that you just like miscounted, my nigga, because there's bro, these policemen are never innocent in no type of shit. There's so many dirty cops, or whatever they learn they spin off to the criminals to, you know, get paid more, because, you know, policemen get paid but not that heavily. They get paid salary. But hey, if you guys enjoyed that video, like and subscribe, go check out Atazi, and tell me how y'all feel about this situation, because I feel great about the situation. Just seeing this whole thing and learning that this nigga got a whole W or over the police. Any W is good over the police, you know, as long as you're not like a hardened ass criminal. But if you innocent in all of this shit and you get a W, you got my graces. But hey, we on the road to 450. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?